What if the Genshin Impact characters fought in a TCG tournament? I randomly placed the Mondstadt characters in a tournament-style bracket, where they face off against each other in a game of Genius Invocation TCG. The winner of the two gets to proceed to the next round. Let's begin. Mona vs Jean. The match begins with both players drawing hands. Jean, known for her healing and energy recharge play style, aims to prolong the game and maintain control. She focuses on cards with healing effects, card draws, and defensive tactics. On the other hand, Mona is a highly strategic player, who bases her play style on the enemy. She analyzes Jean's playstyle and adapts her strategy accordingly. As the match progresses, Jean demonstrates her resilience, playing defensive cards to mitigate damage and healing her characters to sustain health. She plans to outlast Mona's damage from her summons and gradually chip away at Mona's resources. However, Mona counters Jean's defensive moves by playing cards that disrupt Jean's healing rhythm and put her on the back foot. Despite Jean's efforts to stall and heal, Mona's strategy of quickly triggering elemental reactions proves too much to handle, consistently pressuring Jean and leaving her with limited options, dealing significant damage to her character cards. Mona launches a devastating combo that brings Jean's character cards dangerously low, putting her on the brink of defeat. With one final decisive play, Mona seals the victory, outsmarting Jean and claiming the win. Diluc vs Diona. The game starts, and Diluc, known for his offensive prowess, relies on his support cards to amplify his character's attacks. He aims to overwhelm Diona with a flurry of powerful damage-dealing spells. However, Diona's deck excels in providing healing and shields, granting her the ability to withstand Diluc's relentless assault. This is why Diluc plans to finish the battle before it reaches that point. As expected, she deploys cards that not only mitigate the damage inflicted by Diluc's attacks but also replenish her character's health. This doesn't last for long though, as Diluc's repeated attacks are getting closer to eliminating one of her characters, ultimately breaking her healing strategy. As the match nears its conclusion, Diona seizes an opportunity to counterattack after Diluc used an elemental burst that almost eliminated her character. Diluc realizes this and tries to regain his character's energy again to end the game, as she now won't be focused on healing. But the few healing Diona did, she timed extremely well, managing to stabilize her position again but also now dealing good damage to Diluc. Her strategic healing and shields enable her to outlast Diluc's resources in the end and ultimately secure the victory. Klee vs Sucrose. As the match unfolds, Klee equips her characters with weapons and immediately unleashes a barrage of fiery attacks, attempting to overpower Sucrose with sheer damage. While Sucrose focuses on control and disruption, knowing Klee's tactic, she has a strong defensive setup prepared, with artifacts that provide various effects to her characters. These effects would help her withstand Klee's onslaught and mitigate the damage dealt. Sucrose uses the reaction swirl to disrupt Klee's setup and hinder her combos, greatly annoying her. Sucrose also neutralizes Klee's weapon cards and limits her offensive capabilities, making her even angrier. At this point, Klee is not having fun anymore and gives up, giving Sucrose the win. She just wanted to explode stuff using her cards but Sucrose clearly didn't let her, so she just gave her the win. Albedo vs Fischl. As the match commences, Fischl aggressively increases her energy recharge, aiming to activate her powerful elemental bursts as soon as possible. It gives her an advantage in the early stages of the match, enabling her to launch potent attacks, and it puts a lot of pressure on Albedo. Round after round, she unleashes ultimates that deal significant damage. However, Albedo finishes analyzing and showcases his brilliance by having a deck that would cover all strategies the opponent may have. With an array of event cards at his disposal, he strategically responds to Fischl's aggressive playstyle. Albedo's ability to adjust his tactics based on the situation gradually turned the tide of the match. With having 3 types of elements in his character cards, he can use multiple reactions and use the best one for the scenario. He kept freezing Fischl's characters, stopping them from using their ultimate and hindering her energy recharge. As the match progresses, Albedo now is in an advantageous position. Fischl switched tactics multiple times but Albedo still maintained control over the board through his ability to adapt to the situation. With 2 character cards down, Albedo uses his summons to end the game, for style points. Bennett vs Barbara. Their match start, and they seem to be even in how good they are in the game. They both play passively, slowly buffing and healing their characters, when suddenly, of course, Bennett gets a bad dice roll. It happens again for the next few rounds, but this doesn't stop Bennett's motivation in winning, and keeps sacrificing as many cards as needed. Finally getting enough of the right element, he manages to eliminate one of her characters, but then he gets hit by a meteor and passes out. Since he can no longer play the game, Barbara wins. Yay! Venti vs Razor. After a short intermission, the 6th game starts. Venti displays a deep understanding of his and his opponent's deck, and the weaknesses of it. He utilizes his character switching abilities to constantly disrupt Razor's plays, which is a major weakness in his team. Razor, being inexperienced in card battles, only really had one strategy: to funnel energy to his character card and unleash powerful assaults. It was indeed powerful, although he still struggled to fully understand the intricacies of his deck. He had a hard time countering Venti, timing his plays, and capitalizing on the potential of his elemental bursts. Venti's characters made it difficult for Razor to concentrate his attacks effectively. After a well-fought fight, Razor's card was defeated before he can use his ultimate, making Venti win in the end. Nonetheless, Razor still learned something valuable from Venti, saying that TCG is not so different from hunting. You have to use different techniques for each animal. He also taught him how to counterattack next time. Kaya vs Noel. As the match commences, Kaya takes an aggressive approach, leveraging his combat cards to hinder Noel's healing and protection abilities. He would strategically apply freezing effects to limit Noel's movements and disrupt her defensive tactics. Noel, with her emphasis on healing and protection, would attempt to heal Kaya's damage. She would keep using her healing cards to sustain her characters and keep them in play, not allowing a single one to be eliminated. However, she focuses on this too much and forgets to save some dice in enhancing her basic attacks. Kaya excels at creating openings and exploiting vulnerabilities, and this event was no exception. This was his plan all along, and now Noel completely lost focus on retaliating. Noel realizes her mistake later in the game, but she knows the perfect way to fight back, having studied countless hours before the match. She uses her other character as a fence, surprising Kaya, and she manages to turn the tide of the game. With both of their characters dangerously low, Kaya is the first to eliminate a character. Using this momentum, he eliminates Noel's remaining cards in a single turn, and secures the victory in the close match. Amber vs Eula. Before the game begins, they both agree to not hold back, and give it their all. They start, and Amber uses cards that increase her character's elemental skills and constantly switch her characters, while Eula equips claymore weapons on them, making their already strong damage even stronger. Amber strategically triggers elemental reactions, utilizing the elemental diversity of her characters. Amber's quick character swaps should allow her to adapt to different situations, but apparently not Eula's. Her brute strength and relentless aggression put immense pressure on Amber's defensive plays. Amber's elemental reactions and summons quickly deal more damage than Eula's though, as more end rounds progress. But in just one round, the sheer power of her claymore character's burst quickly overpowers Amber's versatile but more support-focused deck. Eula's focus on dealing huge amounts of damage backfires though, as when end turns happen, her characters also receive a significant amount of damage. After a very close match, one final and cheeky hit lead to Eula's victory in the match. Now time for the quarterfinal. To be continued. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to be notified when I upload part 2. Don't forget to like the video and comment on who you think will win in the tournament. Bye.